Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Welcome to another Ficus Friday, and today I'll be working on my Sabre Leaf Ficus. This ficus grew really well over the summer. It grew really tall and bushy, and I had to prune it back before I brought it down into the basement for the winter because it didn't fit under the lights. So I just gave it a rough pruning on the top of the tree. I've never quite been happy with the styling of this tree. It has three trunks that come up, and they don't really harmonize with each other. It's always been a problem, and today I might try and solve it with some pretty drastic work. I'm going to start by defoliating the tree. That way I can clearly see what's going on with the branches and the trunks and everything. I'm thinking my plan is try and reduce it to a single trunk tree without killing the root base under the other trunks. I'm hoping they've fused enough with the tallest tree there that I can remove them without killing off the roots that are attached to that part of the trunk. Scary stuff. So let's start by defoliating the tree to see exactly what's going on with the branch structure. All right, here I go. So I'll just prune off all the leaves. So this tree has been sitting in the basement where it's been dormant because it's very cool down there. It's about 8 degrees Celsius at the moment. And right now outside it's -6 degrees Celsius, and it's going down to -20 tonight. Very cold. After I do all this work on this tree today, I'm going to bring it into the plant room to warm it up. And then it should grow with a lot of vigor because it's had that long period of dormancy in cool temperatures. It'll react like it's spring, and it'll just wake up and it'll just start growing like crazy once again. That's the plan anyway. And I've done that before and it works quite well with the trees. While I'm defoliating the tree, I'm always checking the leaves for insects, either scale insects or whitefly or anything. And I haven't seen any yet, which is a good sign. I've had a good year for the plants being insect-free, both in the plant room and outside over the summer last year. Some years you get major scale infestations on your ficus. Other years it's, like this year, it's nothing so far. So that's always good. So it's -6 degrees outside, and in the greenhouse here it's 12 degrees Celsius. So not real warm, but certainly warmer than outside. And defoliation should only be done on a healthy tree that has good conditions for recovery. Like a nice warm plant room that's got high heat and high humidity most of the time. So I'm getting down to the last few leaves here. And you don't have to defoliate a tree to prune it up. It just makes it easier to see all the branch structure if you defoliate it. But if you can see in there fine, you can prune it with the leaves on. Last leaf coming off now. It is defoliated. This was my chosen front of the tree last time I repotted it. I'll rotate it around so you can see it from all angles. So here's the front, coming around to the right hand side so you can see the trunks. There's a trunk coming forward and one to the back, and then a main tall trunk in the middle there. Here's the back. There's some roots here that got chewed by squirrels. I'll show you a close-up of those later. There's the left side and back to the front. Here's where the squirrels chewed the aerial roots. You can see part of it's not off there, some here and some down lower. At the back here you can see this root got chewed about halfway through. The last time I did a major pruning on this tree, I pruned off this branch that was growing up top here, hoping to get some more shoots coming out this area. I did get one back here. I got a branch coming forward and a thick one towards the back, which isn't bad. They're not ideally placed, but that'll do. It's something to work with. I'll explain all the things I don't like about this tree. One is this, in this view, this trunk line here kind of disappears behind this main trunk here. So kind of, you see a little bit of it, then it goes behind. You know, if it was shown more like a view like that, it'd be more acceptable. But then in this view, the root base isn't very nice. Yeah, the roots are the best probably in this view. The other problem is this short fat trunk is really thick. It's thicker than the one behind here. And I don't really like that out front either. I mean, it's okay. I think, you know, if I eliminated that back trunk, it would then be a twin trunk tree. And I could live with that. I think that would be quite nice. Even though the smaller trunk is coming forward and the larger trunk is coming backwards. I prefer it the other way around, that the thicker trunk was in the foreground, but you know, maybe a slight rotation can fix that. So the front of the tree is somewhere here maybe. But yeah, this one is a problem. The fact that it kind of goes up behind the tree there. And so I'm thinking, my thoughts, if I remove that trunk and carve away the roots here, that I'm hoping that enough of this root has fused with the main tree that these roots don't die off. So I keep my nice root base, but I get rid of this trunk at the back. Sort of like grafting a root onto a tree. You know, eventually you cut off the top part and you just keep the root that's grafted to the main tree. That's what I'm hoping to achieve today. If I decide to cut that off, I'm just looking for other solutions. I mean, that could be the front maybe. I've always kept this aerial root on. It is thickening up a lot. It is possible I could remove that also. There's a lot of different ways you could approach this tree. You know, it's not bad just in that view, keeping all the trunks. It's quite acceptable. You got the aerial root, all these trunks, so maybe, you know, just a change of view is the best thing to do. I don't know. I would prefer to actually not grow it in a clump style. I think this tree, because of the large leaves, it needs to be a larger bonsai. So maybe, you know, just growing a single trunk, getting it larger will be the thing to do. Well, I've got to decide a plan of action, so I'll have to think about it. I rotated the tree around about 100 times. I spun it around, considered all the different options, pruning this off, keeping that. And in the end, I decided something that's quite less drastic, just a change of front of the tree. I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is the current front of the tree. So my solution is picking a new front. So I rotated it around here. I marked the front with a piece of copper wire. And there's the new front. So I've got the central trunk, a tree off to the left-hand side, my aerial root off to the right-hand side, and that other trunk is a trunk that's in the background, almost hidden. So I think that's the best solution. I can work on the root base next time I repot the tree, but I think this basic arrangement looks quite nice, and it doesn't involve any drastic, risky work. One of the other areas I considered when choosing my new front view was this trunk line. If you look, this branch continues the trunk line really nicely. So that was another factor in my decision to make this the new front and not go into some drastic pruning, because I have a really nice leader here. This branch here can be shortened and turned into a nice side branch. So there's a lot of good possibilities using this view. I just have to work on the roots and get it looking better. There's the root base with the new front view. So you can see it's not the greatest, but it's not the worst either. It can be worked on. These radial roots can be sorted out. Yeah, I think it has potential in this view. I'm going to start the pruning now, and I'll start with this branch, this side branch. So it comes off to the right-hand side. It divides into two right here. So if I do have another branch here, I could either prune it using that branch or back to this leaf here. So a new shoot would come out from there. I think because it's kind of reaching skyward, I need a change of direction. So I'm going to prune off this shoot here and try and get a new shoot coming out from the bottom of the branch there. So here I go. I'll leave a stub just like that. The branch behind here, I'll just prune the tip off. There's a shoot, a downward shoot coming off here. So I'll just take the tip off. I could come back. There is one here, but it's kind of pointing in towards the center of the tree. This is kind of too long. I'll have to do that. I'll have to prune it off to here. When something grows out here, maybe I can redirect it into this area over here. Maybe something will come out here and back here, and maybe I can, you know, shorten the branch in future. So now, here's the main trunk line coming up here. I don't want this branch crossing in front of the other trunk, so I'm going to eliminate it totally. If it fans out this way, it's fine, but I don't want anything crossing over this trunk. There's also a branch coming straight out the front here. I'm going to eliminate that one, like that. Now the apex, it comes up. I've got a shoot coming this way, one coming this way. I pruned it already here once. I'm trying to think. I should probably shorten it to here at least. Maybe even down to here. Always tough choices. I'm going to take it off to here. Like that. Hopefully I'll get two new shoots, and I can maybe shorten it back to this one if a branch grows here in future. I'll reduce this one back. I'm not taking it off yet, but it's a good possibility of another leader in the future. This branch out the back, I'll shorten it for now. I may also get rid of that one in the future. So that's kind of pruned up the main tree. So next I've got to work on this side tree here. I've got some nice branches on this tree. I've got a big thick one that comes out back that crosses the back tree, and I've got a nice branch fanning out here and here, so I'm going to take it off here. Big chop. This branch I'll just shorten. This one I'll just shorten. This one I'll shorten. And this one will get shortened. So that's got the second tree pruned up. So now there's just this one at the back. So I've got to decide what I want to do with that. At the moment, it comes up and then it splits into two. And I'm thinking the branch line that fans out is the best one, and possibly get rid of this one that then goes behind the other two. That's the front. Yeah, this one interferes, it clashes with the tree in front of it. So I'm going to take that right off to here. Like that. And then I don't want it too tall, so I got a good shoot that would straighten out here, come up. So I'm going to take it back to there. Like that, shortening it, redirecting that apex. This one can get the tip pruned off, and that one's fine. So that is it for the pruning. Let's step back and have a look at it. Here's a look at the tree from the front now. I think it looks quite nice. I think it looks tall and it's got good branching. These two trunks kind of converge a bit here, and I thought, well, I could put a wedge in there to separate them a bit, but I think that kind of gives a realistic touch to the trees. I think if you fan them out just, perfectly, it'd look a little artificial, or it wouldn't look as natural looking. I think it gives them a little special touch, almost like they're hugging each other. So yeah, I'm quite pleased. I'm looking at the overall styling now, and I'm thinking that the trunk line on the smaller tree is maybe too tall. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to reduce that down a bit. It's very straight with no taper too, which, you don't want it. The trunk is very straight without much taper, so you don't want it to suddenly go all twisty up top. It's got to match, but I think it's just a little too tall. It kind of competes with the other tree a bit too much. So I'm going to do a hard prune on that. I'm going to take it back. And I thought, well, I've got some branches up top here. I could take the tip off, but I think that's still too tall. I think I've got to take it back more to the height of this side branch here. So here I go. Now, how does it look? It's better, but it's still not great. I think because the main trunk kind of curves in, I think I've got to take it down further, maybe to here. Now that is starting to look better. Yeah, I like that now. I think that's quite nice. Okay, so next I want to do some cleanup to some of those former pruning points on the tree. All right, here I go. I'm cleaning up this old pruning point here. Carving it back flush so it heals over nicely, and someday you'll never know there's a branch even there. Getting down into the live tissue now. You can see it's starting to bleed here a bit. Okay, I think that's good for that point there. I'm just looking around. Everything else is looking good on that tree. Now down low I've got some cleanup to do. I'll show you that. Just take this branch stub back to some living tissue so it heals nice. I think that's good there. I'm all done the pruning work on my Sabre Leaf Ficus. I've got the new front chosen, but I'm going to rotate it around 360 degrees just in case a new front, a possibility, has opened up. All right, here I go with the rotation. So this is the new front around here. So coming around to the right hand side, right there. Coming around towards the former front, and now towards the back, the new back, coming around to the left hand side to around there, and coming around back to the new front. I'm going to repot my Sabre Leaf Ficus over the summer when it's hot and humid, and I think I'll give it a larger oval shaped bonsai pot so it can grow a little larger, so the size of the tree will match the size of the leaves just a little bit better. There's a look at the amount of branches I took off today. Not a whole lot, just a light trimming. And that is all for this week's Ficus Friday. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.